Oh, yes, indeed. Mr. Ladipo Johnson joins us now. He's a member of the APC to continue our focus on the elections. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we just had Mr. Opafosu, and he spoke on a number of things. And, well, yes, he says he believes that he will go ahead for the PDP and win in Ikeja. What's going to be... he's so optimistic, actually, and then I wonder, what could the APC candidate be thinking?
No, I mean, well, first thing is that politicians are eternal optimists. You have to be optimistic, and hopefully the optimism will infect your supporters and then maybe the electorate as well. But I believe that in Lagos, the People's Democratic Party will have an uphill task.
He believes in the wind of process, and that could work.
He wanted to tell you he believed in the wind of change, but then saw that he would be stating the position of the APC and everything. That's why he said it. Yes, there are processes, and we hope due process is followed. We hope it will be peaceful. We hope everything will go well.
But he also spoke on one thing, which he accuses the APC leadership, in fact, Lassa in Lagos, removing posters of the opposing party, but their posters are flying around the place. In fact, the CP in Lagos gave a briefing about that. Why would Lagos be doing that kind of thing?
I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that they are doing that kind of thing. Lassa, there are laws in place. And if you're using certain poles or billboards or what have you, you have to pay. And there's usually a process, maybe about 2 weeks or a week or so. You go, you apply, and you just have to pay. Now, trying to use, in quotes, maybe the Commissioner of Police to say that even if you have a law in your state, and everyone knows this, that in Lagos we've been fortunate enough not to have posters everywhere on the bridges and what have you for a few years now. The Commissioner of Police cannot just say that don't bring down any posters and everything, because it's infringing the laws of Lagos.
But he's an enforcer of the law, so yes, I'm not sure he'll be encouraging people to flout the law.
He should enforce the law.
But he won't be encouraging people to flout the law.
That's what
he tells Lassa, give a level playing field.
That's what, exactly. If you say to Lassa, look, people are complaining. What is happening here? And if they say, look, they haven't applied to use this place, they haven't applied to use this place, then you can get everyone to sit down together and say, okay, if it makes the state filthy or what have you, for the next 8 weeks, let's leave it be. So let's use posters anywhere and then billboards at the proper places.
Would you be disappointed if they actually pulled down a poster that was legitimately placed in a specific
definitely.
location?
I'd be against it, no matter who does that. You see, the way I see things is that Lassa or whoever you are, even at the federal level, once it's an agency of government, and we fail in that in this country, that agency, as much as possible, belongs to the people, no longer a political party or what have you. But I know that in reality we're failing there. But I don't think that is the situation. And I hope that they will, apart from places where you have to pay Lassa, maybe a decision has to be taken by the government and Lassa that, okay, the policy of spraying and removing posters, they do that almost every other day, should be stopped maybe just for the 8 weeks that we have left or so, that they can do that.
Does your party tell supporters, because everybody's talking about, look, we need to have peaceful elections, do they tell their supporters, listen, you need to conduct yourselves decently?
Oh, yes. And I think that a lot of NGOs, non-governmental organizations, have been sensitizing Nigerians for a long time, especially the young ones, been told do not be used as hoodlums and what have you. So we hope that, as Mokwe was saying, once there's a level playing field, I'm not giving a condition now, but basically, once there's a level playing field, it's easy to know when you're defeated. You know, there's no excuse for that.
But even if they feel aggrieved, we have the courts.
Naturally.
So people should be encouraged to take advantage of that.
Most people, most people in Nigeria will tell you that once you've been defeated, especially when it comes to party primaries, I know we've gone past that process now, that once you've been defeated, going through the process of appealing and what have you is like a waste of time. People will say that. But yes, the courts are there. It's the rule of law, and that is an option, the only option that people should look at. But I must admit, though I said otherwise, I must admit that there's some people who just plan violence from the word go. Let's get the ballot box, let's do this, let's do that. There's a small amount of that. But basically, if there is a level playing field, I don't think we'll have
So one of the
problems.
things, I mean, we've talked about LASA right now, and from what you've said, it doesn't look like the agency decided to brief anybody, or both political parties, in terms of what to do and what not to do, you know, during these elections. But we've seen that the Commissioner of Police has had to address that. You have said that you'll be very against the agency if they are pulling down people's legitimate posters and banners. Moving on from that to the conduct of INEC, what gives you fears?
Well, we've all heard about the fact that in some places, in some states, the PVCs haven't been properly distributed. So I hope that they have enough time to correct the situation there. I hope that INEC has learned some lessons from Ekiti, from Osun. Apart from that, I really don't have fears really. From where I'm sitting or standing, I think we'll have elections, free and fair elections. One aspect coming from Osun, from the lessons from Osun State, is that, and I said it before, INEC should take charge of the elections in all totality, meaning that I'm not saying the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces should cede his powers, but for that day on each election, INEC should be the one, in conjunction with the DSS and the police.
Which
whatever.
example are we
Example
copying
is
which country?
INEC,
Where?
Sorry?
Which country are we citing? I mean, why would we? Because
Chamberlain, in most countries, you don't have, in most advanced jurisdictions, you vote during working hours. You don't even stop people at home. You don't have the police everywhere. They just go in and vote and go back to work.
Isn't that going to be giving a lot more responsibility to INEC because they're trying to get the logistics right?
No, even what I was trying to say was that I was picking on the example of the problems we had with DSS using hooded operatives and things like that. People complaining that they were being harassed by security agencies. So that was what I was just trying to say. That's why I started by saying I wouldn't say Mr. President should cede his powers for a day. But basically, because Professor Jaga actually said it sometime after the Osun elections, that they do not appreciate the fact that you have hooded people there. So we're not saying the DSS shouldn't do what they have to do, or the police, because of our state of development in this country. You understand, we have security agents playing a key role during elections. But with time, I hope, as we develop, it will be reduced.